Peace to all of the kings and queens out there. This is your brother, the 13th letter to the cipher. And we are back again. TODAY with another VIDEO for the PEOPLE. That's right. Bringing good news to the people, informative news to the people. And if this is your first time watching the Mo Show, I highly encourage you to continue to stay on this bat channel for more exciting and informative information that you can use today. And if you have not checked out Black History 106 and 107 that I previously went live on today, I highly recommend those two videos and the other ones as well. Okay. How you all doing this evening? Sorry that it took me a little time to get back. I've been dealing with life issues, but on a great level, okay? A happy level at that. Something that I had enjoyed doing, okay? Something that I enjoyed doing. And I highly recommend, if you dislike your life, I highly advise that you change it and find something that you like to do. For all of you YouTubers that's out there, for all of you Facebookers, for all of you Twitters and social media prostitutes, when you speak truth, an agent is assigned to you. So for all of those whom are speaking truth, not the ones that they're not worried about, but the ones that are actually speaking some truth, they have agents assigned to you to review the material that you're actually uploading or going live with, to track you. Some people have even been watched at their homes, pictures being taken of them to keep their P's and Q's, cross all of their T's and dot their I's, so when they get their hands on you, they got you. Okay? But a lot of things is going on in the news, but there are some things that people forget to talk about. Now, a hot topic to me just happens to be this sex trafficking issue, also called modern day slavery. Interesting. You know, I used to go into Walmart and I used to see pictures of all of these missing children. And for the most part, I thought that, you know, maybe the kids are just missing. But we know that's not true. We know today that that is not true at all. In fact, most of these people who list these children as missing, these children are actually being sex trafficked. That's right, made modern day slavery. People say put a stop to it. Let's put a stop to this modern day slavery. So in reality, slavery never really stopped if human trafficking is still existing, at least not in the US. However, over 50,000 sex traffickers, every year, 50,000 victims whom are victims of sex trafficking are imported into the United States, mainly from Mexico and the Philippines. Nobody's talking about this anymore. Like I said, I used to go to Walmart and see the missing kids on the board. Not only are they used for body parts, they are used for sex trafficking. Not to mention those satanic rituals that they have. And those are the very rich people who are actually doing this sex trafficking. A broke ass brother or a broke ass white dude can't do this shit. This sex trafficking industry globally, annually, is a $150 billion business globally. $150 billion a year globally. Can a brother from the hood get involved? No. Can a poor white dude from a poor white neighborhood get involved? No. Who has that type of money? Bill Gates got that type of money. Ted Turner got that type of money. Queen Elizabeth got that type of money. The Jews who own Facebook and Google and YouTube and all of these social medias got that kind of money. Even your entertainers, politicians. For example, what's the guy named Mr. Epstein? Mr. Epstein who killed himself in prison, in jail, whatever you want to call it. He didn't do that. Them people did that. He knew too much. This man got an island full of minor kids. An island full of minor kids. He got caught. He got caught. That's where he got his money from, because nobody knew where he got it from. He got it from sex trafficking kids, minors, women, boys, and men. Not to mention the Weinstein cat in Hollywood. Another sex trafficker, pedophile type of dude. Now, just so happens he hasn't disappeared yet. No one has made him commit suicide, but he's there. Now, Epstein and Weinstein sound like Jews to me. I'm just saying, those are Jewish names. Speaking of which, the Jews themselves had a major role in sex trafficking starting back in 1555. 1555, the Jews were already sex trafficking people. The Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade. They sold black people. They raped black people, boys and girls, men and women, and then castrated them. Nobody did anything about that. They really tell you to forget about that, because that had happened over 400 years ago, but it's still taking place. If they can see what you're doing from a satellite out in space, they can tell you when these kids and these women and these boys and these men are being trafficked into the U.S. And as I stated, over 50,000 on an annual basis are brought here into the United States. How does that happen? When you have all of the alphabet boys out there, FBI, DEA, ATF. Really? Really? I'm just saying. Sex trafficking is the #1 criminal underground event. It's the #1 criminal underground event. It surpasses the sales of drugs. And we, as people in the U.S., we are dope fiends to the max. Hooked on drugs. Not hooked on phonics. Hooked on drugs. Not hooked on phonics. Hooked on drugs. Take your choice. Crack, heroin, Molly, speed. They even got the kids on drugs. Ritalin, Adderall. And you see, and sex trafficking minors is more of a billion-dollar industry than that. So if you got some money and you are of that cloud, so to say, you know how to get you some money. You invest in it. You even have politicians invested in that. Like Hillary and Bill Clinton had that pizza shop business going on in DC where they were actually ordering kids versus pizza. Yeah, I want 3 pizzas with extra three layers of sausage and put some onions on it with some pepperonis and mushrooms. Ordering children by code. By code. And for those of you who can't seem to wrap your head around what I'm saying, that, oh, Hillary couldn't have been involved in that, oh, Bill could not have been involved in that, the bitch called you a super predator and locked your ass up and then sold body parts from overseas. Okay? Sold body parts for overseas. In fact, the Hillary Clinton Foundation is the very same people, which is her family, that raped all of the gold out of Haiti. I'm just saying. If you think I'm lying, do your research. Politicians, kings, queens, entertainers, people who can afford to make this happen are involved in this, are involved in sex trafficking. And if they're not involved in sex trafficking, they are actually screwing minors. We don't want to talk about R. Kelly. We don't want to talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. We don't want to talk about, what's his name, Antoine Brown. Those are the small people. They give you the little small people. What about the big white people who got all of this money? I'm just saying. Now, prior to the sex trafficking that took place with the Atlantic slave trade from the east to the west, and they let that go on for 400 years and did nothing about it, but now they want to do something about it. It's still going on from the east to the west. Even the Muslims over there in the east are still selling young black men and young black women. Muslims. Farrakhan is not talking about that. In fact, he's really retired. But he knew that they were doing that and never mentioned anything about it. But he still called Arab his brother. That bothers me, Farrakhan. That bothers me. Not to mention the fact that prior to the 1555 Atlantic slave trade, sex trafficking, human sex trafficking, prior to that, the very same people that the minister called his brother in the faith of Islam, the Arabs, were the progenitors of this sex trafficking trade, because the Arabs were the first to enslave black people in 725 AD. If you don't believe me, go do your history research. You have to do some research. The Arabs, Habib, who owns the store over there, who owns the gas station, that owns the 7-Eleven. You understand? 725 AD, and we are still being human trafficked by these very same people. You go to the Arab store, you're supporting human sex trafficking. You don't know where their money is going. You don't know where their money is going. Like I said, follow the Arab home one day in your car. You know, go on the carpool and see how he live off the money that you spend with him, that he don't spend with you. In fact, he still continues to not only sex traffic black people, he sells you poison, sells you swine, sells you all of that great liquor that you stand in line for all day to buy. Like I said, it's a store over here in Chicago on Costner and Lexington, right off of Harrison Street. The liquor store line was the door a block long on a Friday night. You understand? Habib, your brother, Farrakhan, and all of you other Muslims who disagree with me. And I say Farrakhan because Farrakhan knows all of this but never spoke about it. But he continues to call those Arabs over there in the East his Muslim brothers, when it was the Muslims who enslaved black people first and had human sex trafficking of young black boys, black girls, women, and men. But they didn't stop that. Sex exploitation of human beings since 725 AD. Like I said, that's like a 800-year gap. So for 800 years, they was doing that before the Europeans started doing it. And now who is in charge of that? The Jews. Like I said, Epstein, Weinstein, they even got Kevin Spacey hooked up on some shit right now. I'm waiting on Tom Hanks, okay? I'm just saying. Nothing has been done about that. Nothing at all. Speaking of human sex trafficking, I myself, this is a very true story. I have a family member that's right now in Minnesota. We, our family and friends of his, call him Buddha. This is a true story, you all. Went to Minnesota and got with the minor sex trafficking ring and got busted. Got 23 fucking years. Left Chicago selling drugs to go to Minnesota to sex traffic. Dumb shit. Dumb shit. How could you sex traffic your own people? How could you sex traffic your own people? In fact, you have Black people today who help facilitate this underground criminal activity. And like I say, if you poor Black man, you can't get into this. Hey, sadly, you even got teachers right now that's involved in sex trafficking. You got this teacher that was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, got caught for sex trafficking. Look it up. Look it up. This shit is outrageous, you all. The top state for sex trafficking is California. And in California, cities like San Diego, LA, and San Francisco are the three largest cities in California that is highly promoting and conducting of sex trafficking. After California, Texas and Florida followed California in the high rate in sex trafficking. Then you break off into the Midwest. You got Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, and North Dakota. All sex trafficking. Do you know where your children are at? Do you know where your children are at? 71%. 71% of the sex trafficking is girls and women. 29% are boys and men. When I saw the 29% were boys and men, I understand the boys, but the men get sex trafficking. Get you in your head, tie a bag around your head. It's a wrap. So nowadays you have to have a swivel on your head, on your neck. Your head has to be a swivel, looking every which way so that you don't get jacked. Getting jacked. A grown-ass man getting jacked to be sex trafficked. So all of you pretty fly boys that's out there that's looking smooth each and every day, they watching. They're watching, and they will get you if they want you. So pay attention to what you're doing at all times. And all of you young girls who out there that's on social media twerking and doing all of this crazy shit, they're watching you. When you send your children to school, they're watching your children. This is a sick society. This is a sick society, but everybody say they believe in God. Really? Where is God with all of this sex trafficking going on? Human, minor sex trafficking at that. It is a $150 billion a year industry globally. And 99 billion of those dollars in profits are from minor sex trafficking. Here. I'm just saying. So like I said, ain't no poor Black people getting involved. Ain't no poor white people getting involved. It's all of the rich, the wealthy people who rule the world that is actually conducting this business. Just like the movie called The Purge. Do you think that that's far-fetched from now? That's actually going to take place. And did you see all of the rich people who were buying victims so that they can sacrifice them? Same thing is going on with the satanic rituals. Kids missing, not to mention, as I mentioned earlier, in the McDonald's butcher joint, children are missing. Nobody's talking about it. Human sacrificing, human trafficking, minor sacrificing. You get a little about it on the news, but they cover it up with other things to distract you from investigating the truth. In fact, many are not going to be investigated at all because they're too caught up on the urban garbage box and the idiot box. I'm just saying, not knowing that TV is censored, the news that you get. So you have to read not one newspaper, read newspapers, read articles that's on social media, alternative news, people who actually are credible, that speak truth and bring truth. But like I tell you, when you bring truth, they put an agent on you. They put an agent on you for speaking truth. You are what they call or is labeled as what's that word on you want to use? You're flagged. You're flagged. Just like if you want to make destructive material, or if you check out a book that is involving destructive material from the library, or if you're online or anything, you're flagged. If you say certain things online, you're flagged. If you say certain things on your phone, you're flagged. But they, the rich, who own all of these TV stations, and I think it's only like 6 families that really own all of the TV networks. They are the sex traffickers, and they are involved in that. I'm just saying, the people, the main 2 people that I just mentioned, the Einstein and Weinstein, hey, I didn't do that. That's what they did. But they say that you are a super predator. They say that black people are super predators, yet they are the main ones responsible for sex trafficking, along with the Arabs. But we super predators and we criminals. What are they? And if you are Jewish and you are part of this rich industry, or are invested in that criminal rich underground industry, what? Mark Zuckerberg could probably be a part of that. I'm just saying, it's not too far-fetched. He's another Jew. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that it's not too far-fetched that he could possibly be doing it. Like I said, it wasn't too far-fetched. People didn't think Hillary and Bill Clinton was running that sex trafficking pizza joint, but they were. They didn't get any criminal offense. They didn't get convicted of anything. They didn't get convicted. Like I say, all of your politicians, your ambassadors, your kings, your queens, people who come over from other countries, yeah, that's what they do. In Russia too. I don't care where you from. If you rich and you dwell with this devilish, evil, satanic business, like when you come in from another country, they bring you a girl or a couple of girls. Hugh Hefner used to do that too. That's right, Mr. Playboy man himself. Do you think that he was doing all of those young girls? No, he was pimping them out. When his high-class friends come and see him. I'm just saying. If you haven't figured that out yet, I don't know what to tell you. You just don't have common sense. What else did I want to say here? Sex trafficking. Watch your children. Watch your children. Make sure if your child has to walk home from school by themselves, make sure it's a group of them. Don't send them out at night, because the predators, the real super predators, like Weinstein and Epstein, the super predators, and Hillary, the super predators, may get them. Even followers of Aleister Crowley may get them. Yeah. And I'm just saying, you cannot refute that which I just said. All of the information that I give you is actual facts. And I want to say shouts out to the brother Michael Perry again. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. And for all of those who are not leaving any comments in the live chat, that's cool too. I'm just glad that you are here getting the information. Whether you think it's true or not, I guarantee you that after you research the material that I am giving you, you too will find that I said nothing wrong. But when is it going to stop? They're trying to stop it now, but they weren't trying to stop it then. They haven't tried to stop it since 725 AD. And it's still going on to this day. So you all think about that. Do you know where your children are at? And I don't care if you're a girl, if you're a boy, if you're a woman, if you're a man, a grown man. Grown men are being human sex trafficked. Some of those high-class clientels are sugar booty themselves. They like sugar booties. In fact, when you go to the Bohemian Club, you see a lot of weird things that take place. I'm just saying, Hollywood is full of surprises. But nothing surprises me from Hollywood. Nothing surprises me from the people who actually run this world, who makes you think that everything is smooth. And they distract you with all of the bullshit. All of the bullshit. They even put programs on TV, reality TV, knowing that it is scripted. There's no reality to it at all. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Just like living the American dream, which is the American nightmare for Black people here in America, is an illusion. I'm just saying. To be aware is to be alive. And if you have any children, as I stated, it is very pertinent that you know where they are. At all times, they got cell phones. And if you are a teenager and you're watching this, don't lie to your parents where you at. Call them and tell them where you at. If you can't get a ride from where you at and it's after hours, stay where you at. Or you too could be the next victim who is sex trafficked. Look at people like R. Kelly. They got him. They say he broke now. But he was messing around with these young girls. Not that he was trafficking young girls, but he was messing around with the young girls. You see? Urinating on them. Asking his brother, Kerry Kelly, to take the case. I interviewed 2005. When all of this first came up, when he was pissing on a girl and everything, Robert offered him $1 million. Straight up. And Kerry was riding in a broke down Bronco truck. I'm just saying. Kevin Spacey, and all of these other entertainers. I forgot the father of this other TV program, Seven Heaven. Seven Heaven. He too got charged. You see? sex trafficking. Had to end the TV program. Just so happens, what was his program called again? Seventh Heaven. Heaven. Is heaven where little girls and boys go? Even when you look at your Christian paintings of the gods and the goddesses, the Greek gods and goddesses, they were always naked. And they always had little kids around them. Always kissing on them, hugging them. Even Jesus himself had little kids around him. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's in images. Now, a lot of people not gonna agree with me, but only thing you have to do is do your homework, do your research, and check out all of these pedophiles that you admire. Entertainers, athletes, politicians, presidents. They all ride with those who ride with the planet Saturn and their rituals. That's a whole nother thing. Saturn is full of pedophiles and sexual traffickers. Those who honor that system. And if you don't know about that system, investigate it. But most definitely, those who run the networks, and I think it's like 6 families, no more than 7, you best believe they're in sex trafficking. They may not be directly, but they show most definitely spend money to get them young girls. Wherever they may be, and they are all over the world. Sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is more than the underground business of drugs. Think about that. What could rulers and kings or those involved with $150 billion? What is the price of your child worth? What are you worth as a grown man or a grown woman? They will sock you upside your head. And you find yourself in a dungeon. Find yourself in a strange place. Think about that. Sex trafficking, you all. It's your brother 13th letter to the cipher. If there's anything that I've said that you like, by all means, press the subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I'm still out here. And I may pull one more off tonight. My goal was to put up 5 today. This is the 3rd one, but I most definitely have one more for you. And that one more is going to be a soccer, especially for all of you young people who continue to listen to the urban garbage box. But we'll be back, you all. Stay away from the popo. Don't drink and drive. Don't smoke weed in your car while you're driving. Have some love, peace, and respect for yourself. We'll be back in a flash. Your brother. Peace.